Good morning. Happy Thursday. Yep, it's Thursday, all right. We're running a little behind this morning. It's about 20 after. I stayed up last night to watch at least an hour of the debate. As far as I'm concerned, there's 2 hours of lost time I'll never get back. Because I usually go to bed at 8 at night. I mean, what did you guys think if you guys stayed up and saw any of it? The other thing is we're now starting to come back into fall. Summer went fast, and we've been basically just repairing stuff, not servicing, because usually our servicing is in the spring and the fall. But what do you do to stay relevant as it comes into the fall? We just finished 3 tractors, and we took in 5 more this week. That's where we make the extra money, because we're going to have some service work coming in later this fall, that when people start putting their stuff away, we've got half of them groomed to take advantage of the fall service, so that when they put their machine away, all they got to do is, when spring comes, turn the gas on and go. But as far as lawn and garden for us right now, I mean, we had yesterday a call that they couldn't get their blades to engage, ended up being a simple wire. Telling you about the couple this past weekend with the bent blades. We've got one that I got to take a quick look at this morning, that they had run it for about an hour and it quit. And now they can't get it to start again, and that could be anything from a coil to breaking down to who knows. But it's not a lot of shop work. Excuse me, not a lot of shop work to keep a couple guys going. Now, I know you bigger ones, you guys probably floor plan snow blowers and all that stuff, so you probably got this fall, that's what you're going to be pushing, your snow blowers. um, I try to have it for our shop so that we spread the income out over a 12-month period, so that we don't have a lot of income and a lot of pressure. I think one of you guys said the first 100 days of hell, where it's spread out. Kind of like my grandmother was a school teacher, and they offered the school teachers 2 different ways of getting paid. They could do it by taking their salary and dividing it by 12 and paying you every month throughout the year, or they would pay you your salary for the months the kids were in school, but once the kids were out of school, you were on your own. And I remember a lot of teachers working in hay fields everywhere else to try to get income coming in. But my grandmother was always smart, her and Grant, and she took the 12-month. She said, look, we got our budget. This is what we're budgeted for, and I just assume do it that way. Whereas the younger guys, the younger teachers, would take the bigger check during those months of the school being in session, and then with summer recess, when they were out, they had no income unless they, like I say, were in hay fields, doing odd jobs, mowing yards. I mean, they were doing a little bit of everything. So what are you doing to do you operate your shop so that you try to keep a steady income coming in through the doors year round, or do you know that when things are going good, to tuck that money because you know you're going to be lean certain months of the year? Just curious to know, because we tend to, I will talk if I can talk. Don't get me wrong. But our I have bills like you shop owners have got. You know, the phone bill's still there, the heat's still there, the electric is still there, insurances, workman's comp, employees. You know, you have a lot of income going out, and I know in our trade it's hard to save a lot of money. You're investing it back into the business is what you're doing. Because right now my business is bought and paid for. The inventory in this building is bought and paid for. I don't owe any money. That gives me the flexibility to accomplish a lot more. Where if I had a $1,500 to $2,500 a month mortgage or rent, if I was paying distributors on inventory or GE finance monies every month for inventory, it could get expensive. So, what are you guys doing on that note? Then the other thing I wanted to talk about was, most shop owners don't talk about it, is your level of stress. When I was making a lot of money, I'll be honest with you, when in our heyday, I call it, it was more stressful, but it was fun in a way, because I loved a challenge, and we had a lot of income coming in, but I was living here 7 days a week. I didn't know when to stop. I didn't take time for the kids. I didn't take time for the grandkids. Because why? I was too busy trying to fulfill my own dream, when in fact, probably what I should have been doing was spending more time with them. And it wasn't because I couldn't get away, it's because I didn't want to get away. I felt I had to be here, or the ship would go off course. For me, it's less stressful what I'm doing now, because I don't feel the need to impress anybody. I don't feel the need to have a lot of income. Because I don't know if I've told you, I mean, when this shop was making a lot of money, and it was parts basically, I had every toy you could imagine. But it doesn't amount to squat if you don't have time to use it. I mean, I may have brought it up before. I mean, I had 3 Harleys in the garage that if I got 15 miles a year on for the 3 of them, I was lucky, because I didn't have time. See, my shop is within walking distance of my house. It's about 1.5 miles from the farm. My house is situated across from what we call the farm. Because up there, I've got just under 500 acres. And down here, I bought this building with 3 acres, and then I bought the adjoining land. I think that's got 4 acres on it, with a drill well and the septic that I'm selling on a land contract to a couple. But what's so great about having all the toys if you don't have time to use them? And on the flip flop, as one of you pointed out, where you work for a guy that wanted to be a professional golfer and was never around to run the business the way it needed to be run. So now you have two extremes. You have one of never taking time off and having all the toys to do it. I'll be honest with you, my son used my boats and all that stuff more than I ever used. And I let him use it just so that it kept, instead of just sitting there. Last year I sold 3 different boats, all the smaller fishing boats, because I got tired of just garaging them, and they were always garage kept, but I didn't have time to get out with them. So this past couple of years I've been coming to a new reality of use it or lose it. And what do I mean by that? I don't need to have trophies and toys around me all the time to make me feel comfortable. What I need is just a simpler way of life. And that's what I gradually started doing a few years back, was when we were really ticking here, I had hayland. I rented it out to other farmers, and the pasture didn't get used. Basically, all we used it for was hunting, for white-tailed deer hunting. And I remember back when I used to milk cows and stuff, I enjoyed the animals. I enjoyed a little bit slower paced. And that's what I thought I would like for my retirement years. So that's how I got back into farming, beef farming instead of dairy. The first year, I spent my extra time building fences. The old fences were shoddy, to say the least, and I put all brand new 3-strand electric fence around the bigger tracts of pasture. And that first year, it was probably July when I had the fences and the fencer hooked up. Since I already had the hay ground leased out, I decided that I would just raise replacement heifers over the summer, put some weight on them, and then in the fall, run them back through the sale, the auction house, where other farmers would buy them and get them bred to the bull they wanted to get them bred by, and they would join their milking herds. So the first summer, I ended up with 49 500 to 700 pound Holstein heifers that I had bought over a couple month period. Everybody's like, what the heck are you doing, Eric? You don't farm it anymore. So I told them, I said, this is what I'm going to do. And they said, the dealer said, great, bring them back and we'll buy them from you after you pasture them all summer long. So that fall, we sent a little more than half back. And I did okay on them. But the money that I made on them, I bought hay for the remaining ones that I kept throughout that winter, and brought a Angus bull in, and I got those girls bred, and then I sold them the following year for double my money that I had invested in them, but that's because I held them for a couple of months. And then I gradually added, over the last 3-4 years, I bought haying equipment and stuff like that. I mean, like yesterday, we're on our second cutting of 6 different farms. We finished up one of the farms last night. And that one there is, I wanted it to be baleage, which is just green. It's haylage in a bag. But we haven't had very good drying weather, but I don't want it dried. I want it about 50-60% dried. When I got over there to bale, after I sent a guy over to rake, the stuff had gone past baleage and now was hay. And normally with the hay, I do it with my 5x5, 5 foot by 5 foot bales, instead of the 4 foot by 4 foot bales. But I was there with that baler, so I baled it up. And I'm going to wrap it because it's some of the best looking hay I've seen for a second cut. So why am I talking about the changes I did in mine? It's because I'm talking about ways to reduce stress on everyone. If a shop owner is under a lot of stress, you're not going to get a lot of sleep. You're going to be irritable. You're going to snap at your employees. Your employees are going to get irritable. And it doesn't make for a very pleasant day. There's good stress and there's bad stress. Good stress is as stressful, but it's still stress. And our bodies are only made to take on just so much before things start to crumble. So as you, a shop owner, and even you as an employee, if you're employed by a shop owner, really have to good look at where you're at and what level of stress you're under, and is it worth it? If the stress is becoming too much, whether you like it or not, it might be time to downsize or get out. Because I think right now in our industry, especially the mom and pops, are under so much stress because it's not good stress. They're going backwards. They're trying to keep doing business the way they used to do business when things were good. And that no longer works. I mean, keeping extra employees on when you don't have the work for them doesn't add up anymore. And when you're taking money out of your savings account as a business owner to keep your employees paid, you really need to look at the business. Life is all about changing. And that is, you need to know, as the song goes, you need to know when to hold them and when to fold them. And what I'm stressing to you guys is, before you get ticked over the edge or go bankrupt, you might want to rethink the way you're doing it. And do you enjoy doing it anymore? Because I've seen people just keep doing the same thing over and over and over, like Groundhog Day, and hating it. But if you ask them, they'll say, what else am I going to do? Well, I can think of a lot of things. Don't stay too long and don't not at least think about either downsizing, selling the business if you can, making life for you simpler. See, the thing is when we get older, we become wiser for the most part. And it's because we can look back and see what worked, what didn't work. We're a little more mature, at least you get into your 70s, and then you start going back towards toddler age. But at least that's the way I look at it. But I want you to take a good look at what you have going on right now. And is it working for you? If it's working for you and it's paying the bills, all the power to you. If you've got time to spend with your family and do the things that you want to do, all the power to you. But if you're consumed with work where you're like me, a workaholic, I guess is the right term, then you might want to start rethinking your priorities before it gets to be too late. And when I say too late, when the kids are growing up and the grandkids are into their teen years and you haven't spent much time and you haven't been doing yourself any justice. Do you have all the toys, boats, and everything like that you thought you wanted? If you had the money, and then you got the money and you bought all that stuff, but then you didn't have the time to use it? So it just sat there in the garage? So if you walk away with anything from this video, it's how to handle stress. Find what you enjoy doing. If just a couple hours fishing on a weekend with your son, grandson, granddaughter, daughter, as a family, or boating, because like what I said in, I think another video, is a family with a median income around $50,000 a year due to inflation has lost 13% of their buying power. That goes the same for shop owners. That your income is not buying what it used to be able to buy. You've lost with inflation. Money in a savings account or in a checking account has gone down in value, not up in value. And I want you to see the writing on the wall before it's too late. So on that note, you guys, enjoy your Thursday, and we'll see you tomorrow morning on Friday. If you got certain topics you want to cover, have me go through, I'd be more than happy to. Because I'm trying to be helpful to you guys out there. And you guys are being great with me. You're being very helpful with the comments and stuff that I forget in videos you guys bring up, and greatly appreciated, because the guys that are young, that are just coming into the business, that are thinking about it and how to go about it, I want them to know the right way. All right. Catch you later.